we have today? Let's take them.
Absolutely. So today we have a feature question that says, how should I demonstrate a sustained national or international claim in a EB1A petition if my most significant achievement occurred within a short time frame, such as the past 6 to 8 months?
Oh, wonderful. Celia and Mario, I think this is one of the favorite questions when people ask us actually. I think I would like to take a step back here. When we say that most significant achievements, the significant, it is never what we consider as an achievements normally is just a possibly the impact that has resulted after such a long time. I mean, for that matter, when you look at the whole criteria itself, awards, for example, are not a significant impact in a lot possible way. It is like it is actually a outcome of something that you have already achieved. Award is not a achievement by itself. You have to consider it is an outcome of something that you have already been doing. Now, same thing about membership. Now, when you talk about, let us say, a paper or something that you have created, a paper or something that you have created is always, it takes a knowledge, it takes a lot of time to earn something. Suppose if I'm writing a paper on modern AI in semiconductor industry, let us say that. So it means that somebody has to take an effort to learn AI, and the knowledge takes a lot of time to kind of have an impact. Then original contribution is something, yes, I mean, I think it's always there. I mean, I would say that critical role is always something that has kind of you have been doing and that has created a good impact. And salary, of course, you are earning since last couple of years or maybe in last 1 year. So it is always a kind of a sustained in all possible way. Okay. Now, having said this, please understand that a sustained acclaim per se has three dimensions. Number one dimension is, you know, is not necessarily, time as we call it. Sustained is not a function of only time. It is a function of knowledge that is required to acquire it. That's number one. Second is the impact that it a long lasting impact that it has created and left behind. I mean, legacy that you may be leaving behind. And third is a function of time. So, for example, we have somebody who is let us say, has been a 28-year-old and 30-year-old in the program. They got their EB1A approved. Okay. Now, it doesn't happen instantaneously that you learn a knowledge about something. Now, we are actually going to file an application for somebody who is 26-year-old also in the program. So we have younger people who are 28 and 30, they achieved their EB1A, and their sustained impact was a function of the knowledge that they have acquired to reach to that level of excellence. And number two is the impact that they have created because of the work. So it's not necessary. Don't bother about time. Don't bother about, a time in a sense, timing. I mean, that 6 months or 8 doesn't matter. It's like saying this, today if I get a Nobel Prize and if you were to apply for EB1A tomorrow, is USCIS going to say, oh, you got it is a short period of time, you got Nobel Prize? No, never. It's in our mind, but yes, if that award is relevant, if that membership is relevant, and it has some kind of a profundity, your expertise has a profundity, then it will make a tremendous difference. I hope this makes sense to all of us actually. Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's the way it is. Yes. So let's say,
yeah, of course. So the next question is from Anonymous. So here at the Next League, what red flags do you look for in early stage profiles and how do you address them?
I think it's the same question actually in a different, maybe somebody is asking us this in a different form, that it's not about red flag. I mean, I think there are three dimensions of success for your EB1A. I would say that the number one is, are you an expert? Your degree of your expertise. If you're not an expert to an extent of, of a highest order. I mean, you have to be a top 1%, 10% in your field of expertise if you can't define that. I think the majority of the challenge people have in their entire EB1A, I mean, it's not about you are young or early or later on actually, early stage profiles you're talking about. It's about understanding your own expertise. Can you define it properly? Sometimes the nomenclature helps, and sometimes the profundity and how you cover over a period, how much time has it taken, that matters. Let me give you an illustration. We had a person who worked with DoorDash, and his job was to kind of connect it to, logistics, find the best routings. And there was a satellite that was used to kind of do that. They don't have APIs, but I think that's the way it is. But instead of saying that, okay, software logistics engineer, so we say no, it is a geospatial software engineering is the expertise. And we got a letter from ISRO, also a space research organization from India, and that's the kind of profundity that you can present. And sometimes what happens is, let's say in my own case, what had happened was over a period. Let's say I was the CEO for Financial Planning Standards Board. Then I was, I had a short stint of HR head. Then I was a director of one of the leading business schools. Then I was selling mutual funds. Now, many people whom I approached, they said, oh, your expertise can be consulting, could be financial consulting, financial planning, investment management, investment planning. But remember, I cannot help myself to be the showcase as the best in the world in that. So, I mean, it took me 6 months time to kind of understand. So it took roughly around, I think 6 months approximately. And my expertise that was defined as financial educationist for and regulations for middle class or something. So basically what happens is I cover my education, so you can connect all the contours of all your past experiences get involved. So it's not about profile. Normally in the program we always take people who are at least 5 to 6 years of experience. So let me tell you hypothetically what happens is, if let us say if we have somebody for a 10 years experience earning 200K, it means that even if you take a first salary and take it in the today's value, let's say the total salary is still 2K. I mean, just for the back of the envelope calculation, it means that, in your 10 years experience, you have earned $2 million. But remember, and we also know that if somebody earns X amount of money, the return that is expected in a person is 20 to 25 times that. Otherwise, nobody will pay you that salary. It means that you have already created an impact of 20 million into 20, which is 2 million into 20, that is roughly around $40 million. So in your entire professional career, you have created an impact which is of $40 million. So we have people in the program who might have created roughly around $25 million to even $800 million. Now we have to see what is that, and how can we use the criteria to look at the lens at your profile. And if you follow this approach, I think most of the people, I think this question comes from premises that people are trying to fit themselves into the criteria. That will not work. And the way I told you, I think if we use that approach, I think it has been working very impactfully. And we have seen that whether somebody is young, somebody is early, somebody is a mature stage, I think has been doing it. And for this, and as I said, there are 3 dimensions of success. The first is your expertise. Second is understanding EB1A. And third is learning how to present yourself, how to draft recommendation letters, how to draft expert opinions, how to work with the best attorney. So if you see the interplay, I think success can be yours actually. So that's what I would like to say. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That
Absolutely.
makes a lot of sense. So our next question is, what balance of domestic versus international referees do you recommend and why?
Oh, I think this question comes from premises for expert opinions or recommendation letters. Um,
Mhm.
I think it comes from premises that, okay, fine, somebody, you are getting a reference letter. It's not a balance actually necessarily. It's always based on what you have actually done. If you have worked only in the US, if you have worked in multi countries, but yes, if you get from people around the world, it is always good. It shows your impact across the world. So it is not about who is giving from which country. It is what is the impact that has led into that country. I mean, there is no point in getting letter, let's say from India or China, if there is no impact. But yes, somebody is an expert in that field. That's very good. I mean, I think it is agnostic to that, but it also depends on case to case basis and who has been giving letters and based on what. You worked in China, you work in India, based on that you are getting, it makes sense. But if you have letters in my entire, I can't say you have been born in the US because EB1A will not be applicable to you. But let's say, for example, I came here during education and I worked a whole time in this thing. But yes, you have been connecting with people, you have been writing articles, collaborating internationally, then it would make sense. But yes, I mean, it is a matter of more of a perception at times if it is no impact. It is not that you have created an impact there, but yes, it is a matter of perception that people from multiple countries are kind of watching for you. And I've seen that, I think there's a one case law also which basically kind of utilized it very impactfully, that people from X countries have been using, from Y continents have been doing this is good for you. It creates a very good perspective. If you have international experience and if you can collaborate and get letters from everybody, it's going to be wonderful. So that's what I would like to say. Okay, let's take the next question.
Yeah, of course. So the next question is from anonymous. They ask, how do you handle requests for borderline or questionable evidence? Do you refuse or guide clients to stronger alternatives?
You see, I mean, I think the word used here is that questionable evidence. If it is a fabricated manufacture or something, if you're talking about questionable from that perspective, it's absolutely not acceptable. No legal firm will accept it. We are also a legal firm, and we are also, ABS under supervision for, offering advice and coaching, integrated coaching from approved by Arizona Supreme Court. So, I mean, questionable evidence is definitely not. But if questionable evidence is not a strong evidence, let's use the word. So if it is not that, I think we'd like to help you to make it stronger. It means that, I mean, I think the clarity we need more details here actually, that how, what do you mean by strong? I mean, in a sense that it should fulfill USCIS requirements. That's number one. It means that when you're talking about letters, they need to be more probative in nature. Okay, that's the all evidences need to be more probative in nature, more kind of relevant. It needs to be relevant, right? I mean, if it is not relevant, it does not make sense. Actually, you can't just, for example, uh, somebody. I mean, I know. Remember a lady? She kind of won some dance competition sometime actually in her teenage years, and wanted to give that as an evidence just to showcase that how profound it is. If it is not related to expertise, doesn't make any sense. So something that is not relevant, something is not probative, does not add a value to the whole petition and your expertise, there is no point in doing that. And then, yes, obviously, there are federal rules of evidence standards which are there. You have to try to, I think here, services from a good attorney would always matter, actually, that how to kind of do that. But yes, the letters should have some particular language that needs to get utilized. That is important. It needs to have a particular approach in terms of if you're giving a screenshot, if you're giving, it needs to be clean as much as possible. I think those things are definitely, we have a full session and discussion on that during the program. Definitely, this thing we don't refuse to kind of guide our students. Actually, we like to. When that's why we have 97.5% success rate validated through independent audit. Actually, here we have seen that we kind of want to help as many people as possible. But yes, I mean, one thing is there. We want you to become that person of that excellence before we even think of that. Actually, okay. So let's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
take the next question. Yeah.
So our next question says, what principles do you follow here at the Next League program to balance aggressive profile building with maintaining integrity and compliance?
Oh, that's wonderful. As I mentioned to you, that there are three dimensions of success for you, everyone. The first is your expertise. If you're not an expert, don't come to us. If you don't want to become an expert, don't come to us. If you're looking for manufactured evidences, if you're looking for ghostwriting services, if you're looking for somebody else to done for you services, don't come to us. I mean, I think that's very clear. Aggressive is not a function of aggressive has two connotations. Is that if I'm putting 18 hours of work, that's not. I won't. That if that is an aggressive, I think we can help. If you're ready to work, I mean, there are people who may sleep for 4 hours a day and still work. I mean, that's absolutely nothing wrong in that. Aggressive, if you're meaning that somebody else does for you, you get 300 citations and buy papers, and if you're calling that aggressive, I think we would never do that. So that's the first thing. I think the question is of impact of the work that you have created. And if the impact is trying to fabricate or create an perception of that impact, that is definitely not going to stand the scrutiny, because as you build something on a sand. Let's say you are near the beach, you create a castle, it will suddenly die down. You create a castle with the ice, it will die down. Actually, it will not sustain. Sustained means, what does sustained mean? It, you see, I think that's a very beautiful sustained acclaim. I think I have a nice way to put it. I don't think I would have spoken it in this manner. I always said that there are three dimensions. The first dimension is the impact, how much time it takes. I mean, the intensity of that expertise itself, how much time it takes, and then the intensity. I think the sustained has to be looked at from a not from the past perspective, even from a future perspective. I think it's a very innovative way of looking. Sustained acclaim means how long that acclaim can be sustained over a period for the next decade. Will it last a century? Will it last 50 years? Will it last 5 days? Because all the things which are manufactured will not be sustained acclaim. So it is not a matter of sustained as a past, it is a matter of sustained in the future. I think that's the best way. So otherwise, like a castle on a sand, it will just disappear. So just remember that. Okay, let's take the last question, guys.
Absolutely. So the last question is from Anonymous. They ask, how do you advise clients on maintaining and growing their extraordinary ability? Trajectory once the green card is actually secured.
You see, remember one thing: you are not securing a green. You are not an expert because you want a green card. I mean, that's the first thing we always tell. We had a wonderful session with Mr. Thomas. He was a former USCIS adjudicator. I think that session is available, and you can click the link in the comments to know more about to attend that session. Remember one thing: you are there because the nation. Can contribute something to the nation, and that's why you want to be an expert. You love your expertise. You want to do things, and that's why you have applying for EB1A green card. The America, and so I always tell people that it's like talking to applying for EB1A green card is like talking to President Trump and telling him that look, uh, look, this is I'm Mario, I'm Syria, I'm Ranjeet. This is my expertise, and this is what I can do for the nation. Okay, so that's the how this whole EB1A all about. I wanted to close right now, but we have somebody right now joining in. Venkat, I will be getting you in on the stage, and I'll let you ask questions. So let me get Venkat, and that will be the last question. Hi, Venkat, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, Venkat. Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, my question was this, Ranjit. Let's say I'm a mechanical engineer, but I was not sure, and I'm in a banking industry. I was not sure if I'd qualify for an EB1A because I want to take my area of expertise as banking regulations. So was just wondering on how it works.
Definitely. No, I will explain to you. I will explain to you. First, your qualifications would not make a difference for the purpose of EB1A. The qualifications just give you a fundamental, a skill set. I had once helped, but at the same time, please be cautious that we won't kind of want you to be taking an expertise or decision on your expertise because we have a very kind of a algorithmic process, if I may call it. It's a patented process. We call it a done process, and defining your expertise normally takes almost 30 to 40 days for people actually here. Please understand that. So we won't kind of just if you were to join the program and can do it, we'll make you go through certain exercises, and that will evolve your expertise. But having said that, answering your question specifically, it doesn't matter what's your what's your fundamental qualification. I remember me trying to help one, in fact, a lawyer actually from India, and he was kind of wanting to choose his. He had kind of applied his expertise as a lawyer, and it didn't work out, and then he got an RFE. But later on, he used it as a business consultant. So what happened is that your qualifications become your underlying asset or a currency. So, for example, mechanical engineering has given you a certain analytical skills. We present it that way. So I hope that answers your questions, Venkat.
Yeah, and that does. So what you're saying is I can still go ahead. My qualifications don't
Absolutely.
matter.
How many years of experience you have?
I've got around 17 years of experience.
So wonderful. So you have 17. And would you like to just give me a quick range of your salary? I don't need the exact amount. Just give me a range. Say 150 plus or 200 plus, something like that. Just tell me that.
Yeah, and it's around 150 plus.
Okay. So let's say, for example, hypothetically, for 17 years of experience, I'm just rounding it to 20. So it means that even if you assume 20 years back, you get, I mean, whatever salary you're getting, you make it to the present value, you are getting 150K. Okay. So it is like, and you have a 20 years of experience. So it means your total salary that you have earned over a period of 20 years is roughly 3 million. And it also means that normally somebody pays you a salary, they always expect 20 to 25x of return. So even if I take 20 or 25, let's say 25 hypothetically, it means you have already created an impact on with $75 million. I just mentioned some time back that if you have maintained that level of impact, it can definitely kind of help you a lot. So $75 million. So we have to see what is a common thread that binds. That will become your expertise. And having said that is your expertise, then we have to see, we have to reverse engineer and what are the metrics, and we use criteria to look at as a lens to look at those impact metrics, and that then the present your case. That's the way we will tell you in the coaching. So I hope that answers your question, Venkat.
Yeah, it may, in fact, answers. It was more than what I expected. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, wish you all the best. And so here we had kind of Venkat who asked a question, and it is wonderful to kind of have. If you have any other questions, you are welcome to join here. and we'll be more than happy to kind of have you. So wish you all the best, guys. And if you want to join the program, reach out to Mario and Syria. If you want to ask your question, you're welcome to kind of come here on next Saturday. We'll send you the links. And all the links are available in the comment section below. Mario and Syria will put it there in the comments. So wish you all the best and have a wonderful day ahead, guys. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.